Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and another episode of Raj's Garage. Today's episode involves two cars. Firstly, my E46 M3 track car and also my Series 1 Escort RS Turbo. So we're going to head on over to Jtech Automotive, go and see Jamie and his team, talk about the track car, discuss what needs to be done, and we'll pick up the Series 1 Escort RS Turbo, which he's had for about a month. Now that's had a lot more problems than I actually anticipated. So you know what, let's get in the car. It's a little bit cold outside. Let's get over to Jtech Automotive. Right guys, so yes, we're in my E46 M3 track car. You may have just noticed this track car is a little bit different. It has airlift suspension. So yes, it's one of probably a handful of cars out there which is a proper track toy but on airlift suspension. Now, this car is well sorted. We bought this as a stock E46 M3 with the all essential manual gearbox about 5 years ago, I think, and straight away we converted it into a track toy. In those 5 years, obviously we've had COVID, so I've not been able to do as many track days as I would have hoped. Maybe we've done about 15 track days, but we've done a fair few mods, including AP brakes, airlift suspension, bucket seats, these Recaro pole positions, Sparco harnesses, PS Designs cage, we've got an E-Venturi air intake, CSF rad, wave track diff, racing clutch, Momo steering wheel. So you can see there's a lot of upgrades to make this car a really great track weapon. I have had one off, which was a few years ago.
Damn.
It is what it is. I suppose it's a learning curve, trying to go a little bit too fast with the traction off in the wet. Not a very clever idea, I've got to say. So yeah, the plan for this car is to get it over to Jamie, just get him to give it a once over. There's a few little niggles which I think need addressing. One is the biting point on the clutch is too high. So address that. It's noisy. There is a super sprint exhaust on here as well. It has been stripped back, as you can see probably from the camera. There's no rear bench and so on. We could probably go a little bit further in terms of stripping it back, maybe get some of the carpet out and change the door cards. But you know what, I don't want to go too much into this car at this present time. When we pick up this car from Jamie, we'll do a complete episode on this car, everything that we've done, and cover costs as well, what it costs to buy and all the additional changes and all the upgrades that we've done, what they've cost. So it gives you an idea if you want to try and create your own track weapon and there's bits and pieces you want to do, give you an idea of costs. It's been poly-bushed. It's very harsh on normal public roads. If there's any camber or potholes on a road, you do feel it. It is set up for track use, so not the greatest car to drive on the road, especially in the wet, because it can be a little bit scary, but that's all part of the fun of having a rear-wheel drive M3. So yeah, let's get over to Jamie's, pick up the RS Turbo. Now, before we get there, the RS Turbo was supposed to be a small project, just really improve on the drivability of the car. It's turned out to be a lot bigger and it's cost me a lot more. Right guys, what a great drive. We are here, Jtech Automotive, as you can see on the signboard there. Berkshire, about an hour from CAS HQ. My Series 1 is here. Looks more or less the same as when I dropped it about a month ago. But I know these guys have done a lot of work to this car. It's a little bit cold, guys, outside, a little bit windy. Hopefully the mics are doing their job. I've had to put my gilet on because I don't really want to get cold. So let's knock on the door. Let's get Jamie out. I've got my clipboard. We're going to discuss what he's done to the car, and then we'll get in the car and drive back to CAS HQ. Happy New Year.
And you well?
I'm really well.
Good.
Yourself?
Don't worry about that, the lads can do that.
Well, I know you got the heating on. So
We have, yeah.
yes, it's a little bit cold. So yeah, I've bought you another toy.
Proper car.
Proper car, yeah. You could argue proper car, but if you're a Ford guy, this is a proper car.
Yeah.
Now, when I dropped this to you, in my head I thought you'll have it back in a week.
So did
we. Because there wasn't a lot that I thought this needed doing.
No.
But your email was 4 pages long, and the bill itself is 3 pages long.
3.5.
3.5. Okay, I did shit myself when I saw that bill. So we go through it.
Yeah.
Right. So, how bad was it?
I'm being politically correct. No, it wasn't horrendous. It was lots of jobs that led to lots more jobs that led to things still not working right, things not being set up right. It didn't run properly. The brakes didn't work properly.
That I sort of did know.
All of the suspension was, as you know, knocking, rattling, squeaking, bumping. And I think it's had an awful lot of cosmetic work done on the body shell, and the paint is really, really good. I think the mechanics maybe got left behind.
Okay.
And that's what we were to address.
So I'm going to pick on a few bits here. Fuel leak.
Had a raging fuel leak.
From the metering unit?
Yeah, there's a fuel regulator on the back of the metering unit, and literally when the car was running it was dripping out.
Should we pop the bonnet?
Yeah. So down here on the back of the metering unit, that regulator was just pouring fuel out, which again doesn't help the way the engine runs, and it's definitely not safe.
And you found something in one of the pipes. Was it the fuel pipe, or what pipe was that?
The map sensor wasn't connected, so
interesting.
The ECU definitely needs the map sensor to run properly.
Sure.
That wasn't connected properly. The brake servo hose was undone, so there's a massive air leak from here. The throttle idle stop was set up wrong with the throttle position sensor. The metering unit was set up wrong. I don't actually know how it ran that well. It did run well for how it was set up.
What about this oil leak?
Yeah, the oil leak was good. So the sump.
Good or bad?
It was a really good leak.
Look, I've never heard an oil leak being described.
It's an impressive leak.
It's an impressive leak, okay.
So the sump should have a gasket between the sump and the block, and it had a gasket made of silicon.
What?
Yeah. So that was around the outside of it.
A bodge.
A bodge. And on the inside of it, in the oil pump pickup, was that.
What is that?
Bathroom sealant, silicon sealant. And when they'd stuck it on the engine, it had gone in the engine and got sucked up by the oil pump pickup. So that was blocking.
It's a little bit naughty, isn't it?
It's a bit, yeah, it's not good. But obviously when we took the sump off to fix the lack of no gasket, we cleaned all that out. It's had an oil change, had all the fluids, had cam belt, water pump, brake master cylinder because the brakes didn't work, brake fluid, shock absorbers, bushes, bolts, anti-roll bar links. We also fixed the fuel lines and the brake lines to the car because they were cable tied to the bottom of the car.
The fuel lines were cable tied to the bottom of the car?
Yeah.
I know there's a few bits and pieces that I still need.
Yeah, we still got to source parts.
Yeah. What was the part that you couldn't source?
The fuel pressure regulator and an air filter.
Air filter I've got.
Perfect.
Pipe across.
Cool.
Happy days. Thank you, TPC. Now, is there anything else on this list? Oh, sorry guys, you can see how windy it is. What happened with the driver's seat?
Yeah. Dan, who's not heavy, sat in it and fell through the bottom of it. The matting that holds the foam in place had been broken before and stitched back together with, I think, another piece of rubber, and the rubber had just perished over time. And when he got in it the first time to road test it, he went through the bottom of the seat. So we fixed that.
Okay. So there's a few bits that I need to do, which I'll address.
Yep.
The suspension, I need to try and sort some suspension to try and lower it a touch. The brakes
it's got
are now,
all new shock absorbers on it, but standard springs on.
Yeah, I'm going to change the springs. The brakes are now amazing from what
Really
you
good,
say.
really good. Yeah.
Road test,
Yeah.
from when you had the car originally, from when I dropped it off to now, is there night and day difference?
Night and day. The engine's not been set up on a dyno or rolling road, it's just been optimised to sort of basic settings, but just to drive it is totally different. It idles better, it starts better, yeah, it's a lot different.
It's going to be a nice drive back. Jason, this is going to be a nice drive back, isn't it? Let's talk about my track car, which is obviously a little bit unusual because it has airlift suspension.
Yep.
And I know even for you are like, okay, this is going to be
different.
Different. You guys do a lot of track prep here, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of BMWs, a lot of track work, a lot of alignment, corner weighting setup. So this would be interesting.
Well, this is actually a well-sorted car, and I've briefly told the viewers what we've done to this, but I just think it needs there's a few niggles, nothing major, hopefully nothing major, and then the plan is to get this on a track day every month. So yeah, I'll leave you these keys here, go through it, let me know what needs doing, drive it.
Yeah.
Give me your feedback with the airlift, because I know
I'm intrigued.
driven many 46 M3 track cars.
Yep.
So it'd be nice to have your personal opinion on this car and the way we've set it up. And we'll be back, no doubt, in a few weeks to pick it up.
Perfect.
We'll go from there. Let me give you the keys to that.
Perfect.
And we'll get in the car, head back to Hayes. Right guys, so in the Series 1 Escort RS Turbo, this car is totally different to the car that I took to Jamie's, that E46 M3. Even though it's quite harsh because of the setup, it's a lot more comfortable than this. It's also got power steering, and those AP brakes on that car, you can stop on a sixpence. This has no power steering. The brakes are most definitely better than the brakes that this car had prior to me dropping it to Jamie. They were woeful. You know, you press on the brakes and maybe 2 seconds later they'd start doing something. At least now, I would say they're still a little bit spongy, but they're actually doing their job. They are biting, they're catching, so that's a positive. Still obviously no power steering, and the feedback from the steering isn't that great. This is an 80s hot hatch at the end of the day. But most importantly, and more so on these sort of villagey type roads, there's no knocks and bangs from the suspension. Obviously the shocks have been changed. The exhaust was knocking as well, that's been fixed. It is actually a totally different car. Jamie was right. The moment you get into it and drive it, you can see the difference. It is night and day. It's a lot more enjoyable to drive knowing that things aren't going to fall off or break. On the main road. Oh wow. Certainly drives different. Jamie and the team have done a fantastic job. It is a night and day difference. Car's warmed up nicely. Dump valve is doing its job, putting a smile on my face. Gearbox is still a little bit ropey is the word I can describe that. But then again, it's nearly a 40-year-old car. So I suppose that's in keeping with that era. I've got to remind myself that this is an old classic. It's not like some of the newer modern classic cars that I have. So yeah, well done guys. Well done Jtech Automotive. Fantastic job. Their details are down below. If obviously you've got a classic car or a BM or whatever it may be, they do a lot of JDM stuff as well. They do a lot of track work. Give them a DM direct, give them a call, and obviously they can help you out on that. They've done a fantastic job on my Renault 5 Turbo, and now they've done fantastic job on the Series 1 RS Turbo. Obviously next up will be the E46 M3, and I'm sure they're going to do an awesome job on that as well, although that's fairly simple. So next up for this car, suspension. So I'm going to try and get some new lowering springs. There's a few bits and pieces in terms of parts that Jamie couldn't source, so I'm on a WhatsApp group with some fellow Series 1 RS Turbo owners, and I'm sure between those guys we'll be able to source the parts that we need. We need to then get this dynoed and just make sure it's running right at the top end, and obviously audio and security upgrade. This car has no security. The stereo is not even wired in, so we'll fit a new stereo, do a subtle audio upgrade, stock locations, put some security in, and we'll go from there. I think at some point we will do a feature side-by-side Renault 5 GT Turbo, Escort Series 1 RS Turbo, 80s hot hatches, and see how they perform next to each other. So we'll get that on the channel soon. Share, make sure you've subscribed to the channel, and I'll be back again on the channel in another episode of Raj's Garage. For now, I'm going to enjoy this drive back to CAS HQ. Some more dump valve noise.